It's coming down to the mid lane, gentlemen. Epic clashes in that lane.
이번 대회에서 잘하는 미드라이너는 페이커 선수, 이지훈 선수, 비어스 선수 그리고 저까지 해서 이렇게인 것 같아요.
Everyone has one name on their mind. Of course, it's always going to be Faker.
I would like to play against Faker.
Faker. I really want to play against Faker.
Daldrin just on the other side, and it's going to be as well. Dumbledore's from the top lane. The hits go in, but Sheik does kills Faker. Only set on the base. He Faker playmaker.
This is the cost of sending 4 people mid to kill Faker on his birthday.
Trying to put pressure on the flash into the urchin strike as well. There's the fish down. And with the solo kill mid.
I really like how this guy played Fizz.
我最想遇到的中路是胖，因为上一次在世界赛的时候打败我们 HQ， 希望这次能再挑战他。
네, 저는 프로 하면서 근데 사실 외국 미드라이너 선수들이랑 붙는 건 이번 기회가 거의 처음이기 때문에 직접 해보기 전에는 잘 모르겠어요. 직접 붙어보기 전까지.
Look at the equalizer in the backside though, on top of the Hemo plague as well. This is what this comp's supposed to do. Triple kill for Easy Hoon.
다른 해외 팀의 수준이 많이 올라왔다 보니까 좀 예전처럼 그렇게 쉽게 이기는 힘들 것 같고 저희가.
Welcome everyone to day 2 of the 2015 mid-season Invitational, coming to you from Seminole Country on the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee. Yesterday we saw some of the most anticipated international matchups of the year, and today promises to deliver just as many thrills. Now the action is ramping up. As you can see here, the crowd hyped as ever. Lots of flashy lights. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today. I'm James Patterson. We're excited to see the group stages here, and alongside me we have some of the finest minds in League of Legends from around the world. The OCE's Jake Spawn Tiberi, English language caster for the LPL. We have the coach of the European LCS's Unicorns of Love, Fabian Sheepy Milant, a familiar face from the North American LCS, Alberto Crumbs Rengifo, and a mainstay of this very analyst desk, Aiden Zyrene Moon. Guys, there's a lot on the line here. Welcome back. Hope you're rested and ready for some kick-ass international play. Now, yesterday was full of surprises, sure, but SKT still remains at the top of the table, but look who's right behind them in second. We have AHQ.
These guys go into every international tournament as being heavily underrated, and they always perform. And the trend in them is that they get better as the tournament goes on. So I think that will continue. And Westor, you know, we thought, oh, he's always having a CS differential. He's getting solo kills on Vivin that last Fizz game every single time, and he's still the pinnacle of the team. Even if the focus is on the bottom lane, he's still the one that applies the pressure on mid lane, chokes up the other mid lane so that he opens up plays on the map. And the top lane and bottom lane for AHQ have really surpassed my expectations.
And a disappointing story from day one, TSM getting crushed by Fnatic.
Oh man, TSM coming into this, like they thought this was their tournament. They're like, all right, this is our time to like show that I Am Katowice meant something in relation to this in Worlds. They come in with like this high expectation of themselves, and they're not meeting it, and they're really disappointing themselves in here. So recovering from that huge, it was actually really like a crushing victory from Fnatic and SKT. Like TSM did not look like the TSM that we were seeing. Their picks were all over the place. Their strategy and their pressure was just pretty much non-existent. So they need to step up today really hard.
Yeah, catching up on this, it was more like the TSM from IEM San Jose, Santorin being like really, really passive. And you should really look forward to how do they adjust. I think the biggest point will be the mentality. And they said on social media, they're ready, they want to 2-0 today. And I feel that if they have the mentality right and actually play to their best, they can easily do that.
It's much easier said than done, too, because when you come from just high expectations of yourself, they're all talking about a top 2 finish, and you crash and you're like struggling for a
Well, we talk about TSM coming in with confidence today, which is what they need to do, and the TSM fans are ready for a comeback. You saw there just a second some clips of them chanting, rooting for USA. There it is right there. A lot of pride on the line here for that team as they have lofty expectations. Then, of course, It looks like we have Fnatic, or
EDG.
This is EDG, rather, instead of Fnatic here. Now we go over to we're going all over the place, gentlemen.
And we're back at the desk.
At the end of the day, there are a lot of players getting ready for a lot of games. Moving on with half of the group stage behind us, though, here's where we're at coming into day 2. Korea's SK Telecom T1 is alone and undefeated at the top of the standings. AHQ Esports is in second at 2-1, while Edward Gaming and Fnatic are tied at third with 1 win and 1 loss apiece. And throughout yesterday's games, you were calling out the amazing moments on Twitter. And here are your MSI big plays. The first one comes from @ChiraJaden, who says, looks like Faker got his birthday spanking.
They're going for a little bit of mid lane.
Looks like Thakali's and Thaldrin just on the other side, and it's going to be as well. Dumbledore's from the top lane.
Who is the monster of the mid lane now? Look at me, I'm the monster now.
I wasn't sure he was expecting 4 people mid, 2.5 minutes in.
I remember when I got my own birthday spank.
No, I did watch Dig during the beginning of the season.
That was around my birthday. All right, our next one comes from SKT versus TSM. @Lucas M writes, "Oh my God, denied." SKT Wolf saying, "Don't mess with the horns."
He's going to find Santorin right before the Dragon Pit. Looks like he's going to try to get over the wall. Not going to work, though. Oh, Chilling Smite. Santorin in a lot of trouble here. Last one. Headbutting him back out of the lantern.
He is one of them spotting Santorin. That's why those know they can take this fight. And look at Wolf. Lands on for Santorin, just headbutts him back in. You're not going anywhere.
I love how Monty's like, whoa, hold on.
Gravity.
Keep myself centered here. That's lovely.
Got to lower that center of gravity so he doesn't fall over. I mean, that was pretty much like the amalgamation of the TSM. Like, that was the story yesterday of that game for them. Nothing would go right
that entire time, too. Yeah. So it's not like I'm going to flash, then body slam over the wall. He didn't risk it. He was like, okay, let's not blow anything. Let's not, like, embarrass myself. But then that's what happens, is you embarrass yourself when you don't go for the play that you normally would have gone for.
And Last Boy just can't save him quick enough. He's trying to run everywhere and pull everyone out of danger. He just can't do enough for his team.
Yeah, Thresh lanterns all over the place all day.
Thresh lanterns than actually hooks in this game.
Probably maxing it.
All right, well, remember to keep sending those in. Those show-stopping moments, send them at LOL Esports as they happen, and be sure to include the hashtag MSI Big Plays. Now, there's sure to be plenty of big plays today as we start things off between the LPL's Edward Gaming and the European LCS's Fnatic. Then North America's Team Solo Mid will face off against the LMS's AHQ Esports Club. Edward Gaming will take to the Rift again to face international wildcards Besiktas Esports Club before Season 3 World Champions SKT Telecom T1 square off against the Season 1 champions Fnatic. Each team will have played a total of 5 games at the end of the day, unless it comes down to tiebreakers to determine seeding for tomorrow's bracket. And while the games are taking place in Tallahassee, we want to see how you're celebrating the 2015 Mid-Season Invitational around the world. So get on Twitter and tell us, how do you MSI? Send photos and tell us how you and your friends are enjoying MSI so we can share them in the broadcast. Here's a little inspiration for you. This is how we MSI here at the Analyst Desk. It's a lot of fun. A lot goes on when the cameras are not. Anyway, remember to tweet those to us at LOL Esports and be sure to use the hashtag HowIMSI. And we're still looking for our first Baron Steal or Pentakill of the tournament, so keep an eye out. When that happens, it will trigger bonus legendary and esports mystery gifting in the store through May 15th, rather. And while our broadcast team is bringing MSI to you from Florida, our international partners are hard at work covering the show for the far corners of the globe and in multiple languages. On the ground in Tallahassee, here's Caster Jun and Dongjun Kim, Cloud Templar and Chober for On Game Net from Korea's LCK, Joker, Cheng Mao, and Xiao Xiao, and the League of Legends Pro League broadcasting today's matches in the audience. Those were flipped backwards, actually, ladies and gentlemen, for the audiences in China. Anyway, and of course, we have our own casters, Rivington Bislin III, Max Atlas Anderson, and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler, who will be bringing the play-by-play for today's first 3 matches. Meanwhile, Efya Shaks Deportia is standing by in the interview area, getting the insider insight all day long from the pros. And now for a match between two franchises that are no stranger to the world stage. Both Edward Gaming and Fnatic are back after overhauling their rosters for the 2015 season. Both teams are 1-1 and have 3 games to play today.
Yeah, and heading into this match, I think that we can expect a lot of fighting. I feel like Fnatic is more like this bizarro EDG, who are also going for fights, tower dives, and a lot of early aggression, and sometimes with more and less success. And I think we should also take a look at the top laners who are very dominant for their teams.
Yeah, it also looks like EDG. This is a playstyle that they can handle. They're the best equipped to deal with the fight heavy meta. We were talking about Fnatic and EDG. EDG is just, to me, a better version of Fnatic. Coming out there, they're very controlled around their skirmishes. Their team fight coordination is second to none, I still don't think. I think in the controlled matchups, they're going to struggle, but when it comes to fight heavy meta, these are the guys.
Coming into the game, we were watching Fnatic's review, watching the games, and we're thinking, okay, these guys are pretty good. Then we see their first game against TSM, like, wow, these guys can bring it. Like, they just crushed TSM. Maybe they can go 2-0 in the day. Next game, they pretty much get blown out of the water by AHQ. It's like, okay, that's a little disappointing. Then we're watching EDG first game. It's like, wow, that's crazy. They played exactly what we expected. Amazing. That's just their style. Maybe they can hold up to SKT. What happens? Faker falls asleep, doesn't even watch the match. It's that one-sided. So these teams are hungry. They both went 1-1 with very bipolar performances. So they really want to show to the fans, like, yeah, this is why you're cheering for us. We're actually really good. I think both these teams will step up, and it's going to be a really high-octane matchup.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this relies on the top lane. The games that they're winning, the top laners just going off. Koro and Huni. Whoever gets the advantage there in that top lane is really going to tilt just the entire map. They're both really good at TP plays. They're both really good at snowballing their advantage into other lanes. And that's really scary because they all play carry top laners, and they do a large portion of their team's damage.
I feel like, especially Huni, who has the highest percent DPS from all top laners around the regions. The world. And I think this is something that is just showing how Fnatic is operating. Yellowstar having the most wards placed and Huni having the highest DPS. I think this team is so reliant on top lane, where I think EDG might not be, but I think also they are just executing it better than EDG.
Yeah, I think the other thing is Huni does rely on Reignover to get him going. Once he is going, Huni is a solo carry by himself. We mentioned his damage, the ability to dive the back line. Huni doesn't do as much damage to the front line. He's all about getting onto the priority targets, but he does need to get going. Koro, on the other hand, is all around his teleport. So whilst they throw attention to Huni's lane, I expect Koro to be able to get more done by himself and create playoff clear love around the map. Clear love's much more about teaming up with Mako, creating spaces where they can teleport behind plays and get clear love Koro in on the back line.
I think it's worth noting that we mentioned about how Huni having the highest percentage damage and Yellowstar with a lot of warding. Well, it could just be that Yellowstar's warding is simply the enabler for Huni to get that extra damage. If you get more TPs, you get more fights more often, and I think that could be the contributing thing. So it may not just be that Huni is a monster when he gets going, which he is, but it's also a whole collaborative team effort to make sure he gets to that point.
Well, that's the thing. Top laners in general in this tournament are performing extremely well. 3 of the 6 teams, their top laners are the highest percent damage on their team so far this tournament. So, interestingly enough, where we had originally talked about the importance of mid laners and this being the tournament, the battle of the mid laners and how they can affect the teams, it looks like it's trending maybe towards the top lane and TP play.
And this is really scary for people who are playing tanky top laners, because there's top laners who are going to try to roll over you in lane. They're mechanically skilled and they're good at turret dives with their team. We're seeing a lot of turret dives this tournament, and the team that's able to pull them off and execute them very cleanly seems to be coming out on top in an early game.
And I feel really that EDG is not the better version of Fnatic. I really disagree there. I think that EDG is really good in some skirmish situations, better maybe than Fnatic, but I think that in the flanking, Fnatic just shows that all their engages are absolutely.
You're gonna have
You knew that was coming.
I do not think that you can say anyone like Koro's Hecarim yesterday was the flanking play that was coming through. The Kalista may as well had not existed on the map past the 25-minute mark. Like whenever it was in the team fight, it was just gone.
Huni's engages were really crisp. I think just Fnatic as a team didn't back it up. And you saw it
I don't think he's better than Koro at it,
trying to get kills and objectives.
Well, we saw plenty of these skirmish-heavy teams so far. There's a lot of fight play at MSI, and according to Edward Gaming's Clearlove, that's exactly where his team excels.
我们队伍团战能打得很好，原因就是因为我们平常的训练量会很大，然后我们在比赛中和训练赛的沟通量会很大。虽然我们是中韩队，就是中国和韩援的队伍，但我们的沟通量就是也许比中国队伍还要更好一点。就是我们在打团的时候，什么细节都会去说，所以说这就是我们打团为什么这么强的原因。
All right, no, they don't feel like they have any communication issues. And I have to say, after watching yesterday, it didn't seem like that
either.
I'd like to be able to catch a glimpse of just a little excerpt of them team fighting when you can hear the comms and see what they're really talking about, have somebody translate so the whole world can learn about it. If their communication is that good, maybe we can take some notes out of that.
Yeah, and it's funny because we don't know how the communication works, but we saw when they turned on the dime on the Sejuani ult yesterday, it definitely does work.
Oh yeah, that was really impressive. TP was already coming in too. It was great.
All right, well, I'm sure people are excited to get into some of that action today. Now let's take a look at the lineups we'll see on stage today. On the blue side, it's the LPL's Edward Gaming. In the top lane, we have Koro. In the jungle, Clear Love. Pawn in the mid lane, Deft at 80 carry, and Mako at support. And of course, over on the red side of the rift, it's the European LCS's Fnatic. Huni in the top lane, Rain over in the jungle, Fabivin in the mid lane, Steelback at 80 carry, and Yellowstar on support. Wow, words are escaping me today. But before we send it over to the stadium for the picks and bans, gentlemen, I want to hit you up for your predictions of this match. Spawn, we're starting with you, as always.
So I went 0-3 yesterday. It wasn't a great day, but I think EDG have this one. This is one of the ones that if I was a gambling man, I would put a lot of money on. I think that they are better in a lot of the roles and play a similar style.
If you were a gambling man yesterday, you would be really poor.
You'd be broke. You'd have no money left today.
Yeah, that's true.
So feeling that you go with EDG and you're really certain on this, I feel more, going for Fnatic here, and I think they will have a really strong showing and show that Europe is not to mess with.
I think you go with Fnatic because every time they win a game, you're just like, yes, we could have been here doing the same thing. We're not that bad.
It was a close match.
I'm going with EDG. I think that the difference in both losses from the teams is vastly different, and one is easier to fix. EDG, you could argue the draft was really poor. Sure, their play was lackluster, but I think it came down to how poorly they drafted. On the other hand, Fnatic versus AHQ, they got outplayed pretty hard, to be honest. Solo kills in the mid lane, bottom lane losing, top lane just barely going even. I think EDG, if they bring their A game this time around versus Fnatic's A game as well, I think EDG will come out on top. But if Fnatic does the same thing that they did against TSM.
You can't root for two teams.
I'm not rooting. I'm giving the condition. They can win.
No,
If they get the laning base, they got it. They can win the laning phase.
Yeah, if I had 2 picks every single time I put a prediction in, I'd be 3-0 as well.
The caveat.
What's the system, man?
Even though I hate going with the curse of Spawn, I got to go with EDG here. I think that right now they're the superior team. They just need to clean up their picks and bans. Their coach in an interview said that they're trying things out. If they keep trying things out, though, we'll see, because it's really risky, because it didn't work against SKT, especially the Tristana.
But we had this picture before. I was for one team, Fnatic, and you were for all the other teams. So I guess
right. That's how the day started yesterday, so this could be an omen of things to come.
Yeah. And just on your point about trying things out, EDG tried stuff out all season long. The LPL's a very long season. We saw a Fizz Eve comp come out from these guys, and they still managed to get the win. The Tristana, I think, was a bit that fell over. I don't even know whether that's trying things out. I think that was just like a panic click coming through there, but overall, I still have a lot of confidence in EDG.
We'll have to see if EDG, after dropping a game yesterday, decide to stop trying things out. According to LOLesports.com, 54% of you have actually picked Fnatic to take this game, so Sheepy's got a little bit of backing there.
I got the fans on my side, and they know it as well.
All right, well, the teams are ready to kick off the second day of the 2015 Midseason Invitational, so let's step inside the caster booth and get into the game.
Thank you very much, Dash. I am Rivington Bisson III, and joining me is Oceanus, Max, Atlas Anderson, and of course, Sam, Kobe, Halkin, Kensler, as the team's ready up for picks and bans to start day 2 of the Midseason Invitational. Gentlemen, it's going to be great. They were discussing on the desk who has the edge. I mean, if you give EDG a vowel, they are the edge. But seriously, Freak's not up here. These teams are 1-1. We got a pretty even game going into this one. Hopefully, Fnatic can shake off what happened yesterday.
And they're going to start off with an Anivia ban as well. So interesting stuff coming through from EDG, the word go.
Yeah, very bold move here. It looks like they're going to try and cut down on the number of bans for the top lane and the AD carry role. They've been talking up this Huni versus Koro matchup because it really has come down to sort of the 3 kings of the top lane here at MSI. And that is Koro, Huni, and of course Marin for SKT. It looks like we had a little bit of a bug.
They're going to hop out real quick and get Champion Select restarted. We did see that Anivia ban. You're talking about the top lane, and throughout the season...
Bird, not then a bug.
Yeah. Throughout the top lane, we've been seeing less Maokai. Was played a little bit yesterday, but these guys are definitely going for that more top carry focus, something where they can just get back in the game and help the team out and not be on an island.
Yeah, so much Hecarim, Gnar, Rumble, all of these really big playmaking, high teleport impact champions.
This has a lot to do with these players, though, as well, because these are the Hecarim players. This is Koro and Huni. These guys love playing this champion. It's not necessarily a Maokai style. I feel like if they go back to Maokai, it's sort of like them conceding their power picks here.
I think it is going to be very important, especially since it feeds right into Fnatic's playstyle and how they really rely so much on Huni's teleports and the early success of those.
And like you said, Kobe, it was a bird, not a bug. Anivio was accidentally clicked.
They're cutting down on the total number of bans by throwing away a bunch of bans here on Random Champion.
So there's the first ban. It is going to be the Sivir. Steelback will not get a chance in that. And really, Deft here and there on it, he's got other priorities for the AD carry, so he loves that ban.
Right, so I was wondering if they would actually focus on the AD carry role or the top lane.
Okay.
There are so many top lane champions right now that to pick and choose from. It looks like they are going to focus on AD carry. And one of the good things about Deft picking Tristana earlier is that he didn't pick Jinx and he didn't ruin his undefeated streak.
Hey, that's true. That's true.
So he could very easily go back to that Jinx. Fnatic have been first picking Urgot for Steelback, so this is kind of a self-ban here, banning that away from Deft. They feel that EDG would first pick it since they started out with an AD carry ban themselves.
And we'll see whether Edward Game actually go for a Kalista ban or they just let Steelback have it. Steelback hasn't necessarily been the strongest Kalista we've seen so far, but
that's right.
They're not very good at playing against it, Edward Gaming. We know that.
I mean, it kind of comes down to, are they scared of the lashback from fans? Just if they let Kalista through again and they lost to another Kalista, they would probably never hear the end of it. But to be honest, Steelback's Kalista not quite as intimidating as Bang's.
Absolutely. Seeing that Azir ban as well, maybe some inkling that EDG has. Febiven would want that. Haven't seen it through the semifinals or the finals coming out of the European LCS.
I like this multi-ban here, though, against Huni and Febiven with the Cassiopeia. Make sure you get that out of the way. And I actually like that against Huni more than Febiven. His wasn't necessarily as impressive, but Huni went off on that champion.
And EDG do have a history of banning out the Cassiopeia. So a little bit of a scattered game plan here in the bans from both teams. Dipping into the mid lane, banning out a lot of the control, long range, DPS mages. A lot of consistent damage mages taken out here. And the Kalista's actually left up, so Deft, we will see his hand at the Kalista.
Oh my goodness. So
this is
the smile on his face.
Well, he took a deep breath.
That was a very deep breath.
I'm going to have to perform.
Okay, and what he's thinking right now is that I played Tristana yesterday. It was horrible. And I've got to really pick myself back up. And if he wants to prove himself right now, why not pick up a champion that we haven't been very impressed with?
Exactly.
And win on it. So right now he's going for the power play.
I like the boldness of EDG to go with this. And if he is an AD carry in the lane phase to take advantage of Steelback and Yellowstar, then Kalista's the one to do it on. And you can really take over a game from the bottom lane there.
Also, Mako's Annie left up. If they kind of want to synergize that, you don't want to throw the little girl into the fight all the time. But a lot of bans were kind of set to the wayside for Huni. We've seen totally target him, and now he's able to pick up something with an impact.
Right, on the other side, of course, the first rotation here from Fnatic, they're going to be able to pick up the last remaining of those top 3 carry top laners. Rumble for Huni, so that will be huge. The thing about the Kalista bottom lane also is that the ult can be used for disengage to save your support if the inevitable teleport for Fnatic does happen down bottom. And so it's a bit safer, especially when comboed with Thresh.
Yeah, and you see Fnatic, they're like, okay, let's go for some mid-game power. They've got the Rumble, they've got the Rek'Sai, but then if you want mid-game power, pick LeBlanc. And so Pawn says, all right, I'll just lock that one right in. That's fine. Blind pick the mid lane, but I don't care.
Yes, Pawns LeBlanc, this is going to be very scary for Febiven to deal with. Now, the thing is, they did leave Zed up, which is good into LeBlanc. However, it's hard to work that into the team, and you can't always just think about the lane matchup here.
Yeah.
They do already have an AP top laner, so they could look for a way to work it in.
There's also the fact that Rumble wants to be team fighting. He doesn't necessarily want to have a split pusher on his team. They want to be using that equalizer and fighting around it, but we'll see what Febiven does go with. They probably will save his pick for later. But we'll see. Steelback going, looking for a little bit of that Lucian.
Yep, right now, Daylor talking to both Febiven and Steelback about this pick. And we'll see what they come up with.
The thing about Lucian is...
he did it!
And the Zed! Got him! Yes. All right, well, we already went over the Zed, so time to talk about Lucian. Because the thing about Lucian is that at the pro level, at the very highest level, his laning phase, you live and die by hitting your piercing light through the minion onto the enemy champion. So you have to be very, very good with your early usage of the Piercing Light to land that for Haas, or else you're going to lose this lane. And the thing with Kalista matchup, she can sidestep your Piercing Light simply with her passive.
Right.
It's all you have to do is constantly
goodness.
strafe as Kalista, and you can avoid the damage. It's almost as annoying as someone playing Odd Job in 007 Goldeneye.
Or Moonraker Elite.
It's a very frustrating matchup for me to play, but of course,
never happened.
A much higher level.
He was always banned. He was always banned. We do see the Maokai and the Gragas come in, more tank, more scaling coming out of the EDG composition with a bit of that fight from Pawn. If he can control the mid game, then it's going to be real easy peasy on that end. If this early game from Fnatic, though, can get control, if Rainover can get from lane to lane as he's been doing, and if it's Huni, I don't know if it's going to be a long game for him.
Oh! Yellowstar straight in there with the Annie pickup as
Talking
well.
about maybe Mako.
Yeah, there is so much mid-game power here, though. If they're getting a fight around that Tibbers level 6 mark, I don't know how it goes wrong for Fnatic.
Well, Yellowstar, yes, he's very well known for this Annie, and he's going to make a lot of roaming plays, but if you think about the team fights, that's a scary pick. To pick Annie into Maokai Gragas,
yeah, that's a good point.
Annie is very scared of large bodies. And those are two very large bodies that were just picked up. A strong front line for EDG. What he's thinking is that he wants to get straight on Kalista, not land the stun with the Tibbers, and be able to blow her up. That's fairly hard to do, but they do have the Zed and the Rumble, both for assassination. Both of those guys can assassinate the backline in their own different ways.
I'm really excited to see how this Zed pickup works here for Febivin. Unicorns of Love Bandit every single game, and something, you know, you think back to when Bjergsen got the chance to pick Zed at Worlds. He picked it, and then it didn't turn out too well because he didn't get to play it on the international stage with that pressure, with all that. Is this Zed still honed in for Febivin?
I love the Zed LeBlanc matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zed does have a bit of an edge, but it's so exciting because we finally get to see more Assassins again. We were hoping for Assassins with all of these great mid laners coming to MSI. We're going to see one of the best Assassin matchups. See if Pawn can actually take it, because they opted to ban out the long-range DPS mages instead of Zed.
All right, with picks and bans on the books, let us know who you think will come out on top. Game 1 here by tweeting at LOL Esports with the hashtags EDG win or FNC win. We'll add up all the results as we get into the game, and you'll be able to see your vote. Backing your favorite team here as we enter day 2 of the midseason invitational. It is Fnatic versus EDG.
And EDG with some fantastic picks, and I really actually like the Kalista. I don't necessarily like it generally in the hands of Deft, but against this comp, if you're going for that Bloodthirster Hurricane build, it actually works out quite well. There's only one tank.
Exactly. The Cinder Hulk advantage goes to EDG in this drafting phase. Fnatic have reverted to an older pre-5.5 set of champions here. You can still pull this off, but it re-emphasizes the point that we keep bringing up for Fnatic. And this is this early game, and these are those roaming plays. The Zed and the Rumble have to have a good early impact, because Clearlove and Koro are both going to scale very well as these tanks. And we'll see if Yellowstar gets off to an early start. Has started the W for the stun.
He gets
Cash
a double.
money.
That's beautiful. That's Spellthief's Edge already getting stacked up. No problem at all. Yellowstar's playing so aggressively here. Mako didn't decide to go for anything there, but EDG just going to back off. Yellowstar going to get his mana back and his health there as well.
Gets another potion out of that, 47 gold, so he gets to grab another biscuit.
Oh.
And he'll continue to spam as he heads to lane. It looks like we may actually get that matchup as well, as both teams head towards the bottom side. It is going to be nitty and gritty from the start. Febivin starting off with the longsword as well to put pressure on in that mid lane. And we see the ring and biscuits from Pawn, because he also wants to put pressure out. We've seen even Faker bringing out consumables in the mid, but we can see these guys want to fight.
Right. All right, so plus for the mid lane. The classic double sapling start here to help out Pawn, give him an edge in this matchup. We'll see if he makes anything happen with the early level 2. Because he's missing some of his mana bar right now, Febivin should expect it, shouldn't get caught off guard. Yellowstar getting there a little late to stop it. He flashes for it, though.
Yellowstar getting himself out with a big smile ear to ear.
So that flash, he not only got an experience advantage by sealing it away, but Deft and Mako already tanked the entire Krugs, the entire damage that the Krugs are going to deal. So they earned the extra potion advantage as well for that support.
So Yellowstar really helping out his bottom lane here and making that level advantage.
Clearlove.
The classic Clearlove level 2 gank here. Nice play back there by Mako. The flash body slam with the exhaust as well. again with this play.
Clearlove did it on Sejuani yesterday. He does it again today on Gragas. This is one that you should actually be expecting the earlier ganks to come from, especially since Fnatic, Reignover, was the one to do the level 2 Gragas yesterday.
Right.
But Clearlove identifies, hey, guys, Flash was just burned. This is the communication they were talking about. Bottom lane immediately notifies him. He heads straight down the river. Really, really easy first blood there for EDG. And Yellowstar, yes, he got the crunch steal. But no matter how many times you call that worth, it is definitely not true.
If you say it in all chat,
dangerous thing.
it's always worth. That's the rule.
So we do have Reignover taking the blue buff here. He may actually be able to come right and route behind Koro. That's going to be the pop-up. Koro flash, but he still gets locked. It doesn't give him much distance with that slow one. And now, wait a minute, they got a flash. Reignover goes down because of too much from the turret.
Koro's passive was so huge in that exchange. And again, the flash hook, steal back dodges it. Nicely played.
Yeah, good dodge there, sidestep, while slowed. Barely got out of that one, but you're talking about how high octane this game was going to be.
Absolutely.
Very quick moves from both junglers. What you would expect from the Gragas and the Rek'Sai. Both of them on different sides of the map, but both connecting.
Skirmisher already for Reignover, something we constantly see from the European LCS. He wants to be in the face of Clearlove. Already see him taking the blue and then to the top lane. As he comes back in, he's going to head towards the bottom side of that map and might have to provide pressure as it gets pushed in.
Didn't get that auto
Nice
off.
job by Pawn, but low on mana here. Chug now his biscuits and try to get back up. He's winning that damage straight though.
Yeah, and this is what Pawn is fantastic at as well in the mid lane. He weaves auto attacks between everything that he does, even on these mages that aren't going to be AD scaling at all. He makes sure to get the maximum damage in these trades, and you saw after that, auto was cancelled there by Forbidden a bit, unfortunately. Just managed to get a lot of damage back.
This is why I really miss the standard lane games every now and again. Lane swaps are fun to watch, but to really see the junglers shine, standard lanes are definitely where it's at. Reignover heading in to try and pick up some scraps here as well. Pawn, though, with both summoners and control of the lane, Shadow being down. Probably not going to opt for much there, especially since there's no flash on Rek'Sai. Yeah, a bit of wasted time there from Reignover.
Oh, Reignover could have cleared that. Of course, with the Q on Rek'Sai, you do have enough attack speed in order to clear a ward, but decides not to.
He gets up. Maybe didn't see it at first because he wasn't burrowed. You're right. So
Well,
he steals this, and Pawn keeps safe in mid.
And look at the reaction from Clearlove as well.
Yeah.
He's got deep wards in the red side jungle now of Fnatic. They saw Reignover on the bottom side of the map. Now he's going to make his move top lane. There's the snare from Maokai. It's a little bit close to the turret though, so...
Yeah, Koro actually going down very, very low here as well. He's going to overheat. Nice work from Clearlove to try and save him, but the flame spinner's burning Koro down. Twisted advance, nets the kill. That was so close.
That was some very strong bait there. All right, jungler number 2. Ready, go.
Literally playing with fire right now on both sides. 3-1, Reignover needs to make an impact. We saw versus TSM, it was very fast to the mid lane, but it's been Clearlove to make the first impact in this game.
Oh,
and now
Reignover.
with the distortion callback, just magically disappears from Reignover's sight on that gank.
He doesn't stay on top of the LeBlanc distortion. Also uses his unburrow on the minion.
Yeah, the
teleport coming in from behind. It's not even gonna
picks
matter.
up the kill.
Cooney now trying to get the flame spitter down. He does harpoon once onto Deft, but that's not going to matter. Deft on Callista can just get out of that light crowd control, quickly bouncing back. Now the hook from Mako, and he can't get any help from Steelback. He's already turned away from the fight, and EDG are picking things up everywhere now.
Yeah, and Steelback managed to get out, but Koro decided, I don't even need to be down here. Deft's got it even after that dive, and man, Fnatic seem to be falling apart.
All right, so action. That's the name of the game. Pawn's gonna go in here under the turret. I don't know why we're. Oh no, this is not the
kill.
yeah. All right, so he went in full.
Oh, but Deft picks up another one, takes a Lantern out as well. And there are so many kills this game,
There's no time for replays. They just keep killing each other.
All right.
Once they come up, they go up to bat, and they get another kill every single time.
We should make
Everybody's
an agreement,
batting
right, where we'll do all of the replays after the game. Because there's no time for it right now.
Exactly. We don't have to go over the plays in every single kill. What you need to have is just a tally by your side. What's really important here is that EDG are coming out ahead in almost all of these skirmishes.
Right.
And the early teleport from Huni that we knew was going to come down bottom, turned around by that Callista lane that we highlighted. Deft having a great time here. on the Kalista in the bottom lane, already to the BF sword, and he is destroying Steelback down there in CS.
It's really everywhere that destroying has happened. Omnipresent right now for EDG with this team that's supposed to be scaling. They have grabbed somewhat a heck of an early game lead right now. Pawn
And this is
still
definitely a
focused
champion
in the
he
middle.
can't play.
One of the slipperiest guys.
Double roam?
There's the stun. That's the death mark. They're going to need 3 now to finally take him down. We'll see if EDG can work anything off of this, but I think Fnatic executed fast enough to get back and repair.
The roaming Yellow Star,
Yep, that'll do it.
Gotta be at some point.
Reignover pincer movement. They've got double pink wards in the top side river, so Reignover knows he can come down that path. Great conversion there for Fnatic, but again, if we're keeping tally of all of this action so quick and dirty here for EDG, still very substantial lead for them, and this Kalista is going to quickly get out of hand.
And the beautiful thing by Fnatic, though, is the fact that they're down, they're aware that they're down, but they've consolidated vision around this map despite that fact. So they may not necessarily get pushed further back, because look at that river up the top side. I mean, they're not going to be invaded again.
That's a good point to bring up. You know, we were looking at those ward stats earlier in the day. EDG, well, Coro's going to...
Yeah, Coro, he does have the ultimate there. He's stopping a lot of this damage, but he's burning down here again. But in the bottom lane, Fate's calls being popped. Yellowstar dodges out of the thing, but the hook from Mako. Fate's call not going to get the knockup, but he doesn't need it. There's so much CC.
It's like a give it a go.
Yeah.
All right, so Coro escapes with his life up top.
He was
Meanwhile,
okay. Yeah.
he's going to just evacuate the top lane here, and they're going to give up the turret, so no kill down there. But again, wards. We looked at the ward stats. EDG have the most placed and killed.
Yeah.
So if there's going to be so much action like this, and EDG have the lead, they should be littering the maps with wards so that Fnatic's further moves will be telegraphed, and they'll be able to see these roams coming beforehand and prepare appropriately.
Yeah, this is the thing. But the other side of that coin is the fact that EDG don't care about the top side. They've got Coro. He was put further ahead. He had 2 kills early on. He was losing in farm, but now that's completely gone. He's going to be absolutely fine. They're now looking for Dragon Vision, so they've got their wards on the bottom side. They're not wasting gold buying wards for the top side of the map.
Right. You never want to fight a war on 3 fronts.
Yeah.
And EDG know this. They have decided that the front they're going to give up is top lane. And they just tell Coro, okay, when they come your way, just book it.
Yeah.
We're going to cede that area of the map because we're allocating all of our resources to the bottom side here. And we're picking up kills in mid lane and bottom lane, plus the Dragon.
We're seeing that Reignover still trying to keep himself in the game, mainly with farm. 51 to 34, still building himself up there, but he hasn't been present for the team. He did just grab the blue over on EDG, but they grabbed his and Dragon. So everything they're doing is just being hit harder by EDG right now. Febiven trying to get his hands on Pawn in the mid lane, but Clearlove is also there. He's going to deliver a nice belly slap and a barrel to take down Febiven.
Yeah, Reignover looking to try and come back in here. Pawn quite low at about 300 health, but he's going to get taken up. There's the flash. Reignover picks up that kill. Clearlove trying to answer, and they just did not think Reignover had the damage. But this is the first warrior enchant that we've seen so far, MSI, and it's working out for Reignover.
There's a game to build warrior enchanted.
Oh, another one. Oh, get out of that wall, buddy.
Big prize. He can still live. Here comes Tony. He's on to Mako. Reignover's going to stay alive.
Coro's coming through the backside. Flash instant advance. Reignover. He's going to fall. Honey's going to be next. Huni even. Oh my goodness. Coro looking for it. Gets the slow, but I think...
He's got a speed boost, baby.
He's got the shrine.
Oh,
he got hit by the harpoon. All right. Breather.
Yeah, calm down. Easy, guys.
We're all right.
I'm so happy I have 2 play-by-play with me for this game.
16 kills, 12 minutes. People are about to spawn, so expect more kills. That's
Be
just the way
careful, it's
this
a
is
tree.
rolling.
He got out. We're fine. We're fine.
That was the most hilarious sequence of events. With Mako hooking in more than he could chew. Where do you think you're going, Reignover? Get back here, boy. Let's take a look at it, because this is how it starts out.
He's got like 4 lives in this play.
As you mentioned, the warrior came in. All right, here it is. Yeah, get back here, Reignover. Pulls him back through the tunnel. But oops, he's got help. Huni's the first one to roam. It seems like everybody in this game is forgetting about their lane counterparts when they go for roams. Second one here. Oh, there's the other top laner. And Jungler goes down. But the other part of the dive here from Rek'Sai, not only has Reignover gone with Warrior Enchantment, but he also has the Stalker's upgrade.
Yeah.
So minus 20% damage dealt for 6 seconds is huge for these duels. Plus the true damage to burn gives him a really, really strong dueling power in this early mid stage of the game where we're seeing so many fights constantly. And those wards that we were talking about, they're nowhere to be found because everybody's too busy fighting.
Yeah, and over MSI so far as well, Deft has had a deficit of being CS at 10 minutes of 17.5 behind. He's now 50 CS ahead. He really, really wants to answer that statistic.
I feel like that Trist matchup did not
That may not have helped him, Kobe. Most definitely not.
Hurting the stats just a little bit. Well, we did hear EDG saying in their previous videos they may be a team with 2 different languages, but they still know how to fight, and they feel they have one of the best fight mechanics between the 5 of them on the Rift. Right now, they're showing quite strong with Roman lanes and Clearlove starting everybody off strong.
Yeah, the scary thing for Fnatic is that in all the chaos where their team is supposed to be the team that thrives with the Rek'Sai and the Zed, it's actually EDG who are thriving in the early game when it's really chaotic and everything's spread out.
Well, it's not chaotic, really. They're still taking down turrets. They took the bottom lane, they rotated mid, they're still killing
chaotic.
things.
There have been kills in all three lanes every 20 seconds.
China control. This is what it is. China control. There's crazy fights, but
what I mean by control is when they group up. All right, the tank line is going to do a lot.
Wait a minute, though. It doesn't look like Hooney's going to be the only one to go down here. They get out of the turret just in time, actually. And Reignover and Yellowstar just a hair away from getting a kill on that one as well. But Fevabin sits on a pink ward. This could be big for them if he decides to go in at the right time. He does have Mako to look for, but that could already be a for sure kill. Who will be the focus? Nice little CS by Mako there as they still hover the turret.
That's the big old right there as Pawn coming through the distortion. That is a very, very patient Forbidden waiting in that tri-brush. He wants to find his way in. Mako still hasn't backed out yet.
They see the jungler bottom, but they don't have 2 of their members, so pretty hard for Fnatic to pull this off. There's the teleport from Hooney. They're gonna force it. Can Yellowstar get his stun?
Reignover looking to come in, but Pawn is going to distort out of the way. Deft might need to get Lantern as Mako. He's moving pretty quick. Forced to use the flash, actually. There's the stun as well. Deathmark onto Deft. He's trying to escape this one. Beautiful exhaust from Mako, though. He does get the kill for Bivin. Tries to get out. Koro picks that one up. Reignover trying to do some work, but he gets destroyed by Pawn, and Steelback finds his way into the fight eventually. And Koro, why are you not dead? As Yellowstar, you are not going anywhere, buddy. Pawn's got so much damage, and the double kill for Mako. 3-1-9 on Thresh.
All right, I'll give you this. Most of the chaos is coming from Fnatic's side of the game. They tried to force that without a Rumble ultimate. Hooney teleports in, and he's just going to run at them with Flame Spitter here. Look at the cooldowns here. He does not have the ultimate. Yellowstar gets the stun off, but they're dangerously close to this turret.
Coming in here as well, you think, all right, it looks like it could be good. We do have Steelback coming in, but he has an Avarice Blade and a Scepter to the Bloodthirster coming in here from the Callista. So he goes down without really being able to deliver or keep himself alive. The I think I can mentality just dominoes against Fnatic.
The kickback on that Light Slinger, he couldn't get the light in the right direction either.
How much light is being pierced? But the thing is, Koro also played that beautifully. He's a tank. He lost his entire health bar, but still survived. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost his entire health bar. Otherwise, he'd be dead.
Since we have been looking at those, sort of 3 kings of the top lane, Koro has been looking outstanding.
Yeah.
He had a really good bait earlier. He was the one to go with the more defensive top laner because
now in Maokai
got the second pick right. Hooney was able to first pick away the Rumble, so big props here to Koro. Well played. Oh.
Ooh, misses the chain, does Pawn, but they are going to be able to take down this ward as Mako throws out a hook. Just a zoning death sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't a miss. Zoning death sentence.
One of the few times it hasn't broken out into several kills.
Anything could break out into fights here. It's EDG. If they put a ward down, they might want a full 5v5 fight over it. That's why these guys are so good at fighting. It happens that often. Core items now quickly completed. 17 minutes in. The Righteous Glory. That Juggernaut as well coming in with Ninja Tabi for Clearlove. And we see the Zanya's finished up with the Bloodthirster. So these guys can really make an impact here. For having a late game scaling team, they're ready to go right now.
Yes. Let's take this brief moment of respite and go over the fact that when things do get a little bit more controlled and EDG get to group with their tank line, it makes things very, very difficult for Fnatic to pull off these kills that they're looking for. It would have to be a miraculous ultimate from Hooney on the Rumble in a corridor.
And this is the beautiful thing to see coming through from EDG as well, though, is the fact that they are now looking like the EDG that was playing and dominating the split in the middle of the season. They're roaming around the map, they're taking turret after turret, and they're shutting the enemy team out of anything in their jungle.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that, and I'm looking at a 23-minute Baron then.
All right.
Well, still, that's a late Baron. That's a late Baron. But
a little bit later. Okay.
The impressive thing was, that's when we saw them kind of be hindered by the 5.5 when the tanks came in.
Yeah.
And now they're playing the Maokai in like the Hecarim Rumble-ridden meta right now, so they can still do it on that defensive edge. They can definitely still put up the kills no matter what they're playing with their aggression.
The thing about Clearlove is he's playing Gragas, which is very similar to Lee Sin with how that playstyle works. It's knock out the AD carry, make stuff happen, and Clearlove, Lee Sin was his best champion. He had about an 11 KDA on that champion. It was ridiculous. I mean, they look different. I guess Gragas put on a little bit more weight, maybe.
Gragas is definitely the Lee Sin of the Cinderhulk.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the Blade of the Ruin King now finished for Febiven. They don't even have enough pressure to start splitting the map in any sort of way, though. Always going to the beat of EDG's drum here, and 1 minute on to Baron. It's almost EDG's prerequisite to get inside the base, and I'm pretty sure they'll be warding up that Baron as that minute comes. Rain over gets played right out of the tunnel as he tries to make his way into the fight, and they are going right through the turret. They'll be able to drop some kills. That second tier turret as well. Deft does have the mark on him, but it looks like he's going to live through this with that Bloodthirster sustain, and they continue. They're not even worried about this second tier. It goes down as an afterthought.
This is ridiculous.
And Fnatic once again get wiped. Yellow Star is going to make it out this time, though.
All of that with the turret firing almost the entire fight.
Right.
So EDG easily going to pick up the inhibitor turret and probably the inhibitor as well. Death timer's long enough for that because they died so close to the base.
And that was so beautiful by Pawn as well. I mean, he distorts in, makes sure he gets as much damage down as he could. He was picking up turret aggro, but he didn't mind. He just uses the Zhonyas after he does all of his work, and he's A-okay.
I didn't even, with all the action, I didn't even look one time down at the builds here. But the Zhonyas early from LeBlanc in the Zed matchup makes a lot of sense and makes those tower dives that much easier.
Well,
Coral, though, sticks around a little bit too long.
Yeah, he might be in trouble here as he's trying to turn it around, but this tree is not going to last that long. Man, that was a lot longer than even I was expecting right there, but Fnatic managed to get it done.
So looking at the early game, check this out, this replay first, to see how EDG just micros in and out of this fight and not even worried about that turret.
All right, so we're looking for, the Rumble ultimate once again down, so huge part of their damage not available. Did get a good flame, spitter off, but again, Fnatic's so far behind right now.
Nothing to follow up on that death mark. Death's still on the back line. Look at the positioning. Pawn, Clearlove, Koro, right in the front. Huge tank line, and Pawn can go wherever he wants, getting kills.
And the thing that was the thing that's quite sad here for Fnatic is that was one of the best tibbers I've ever seen coming through from Yellowstar, right underneath the turret. Theoretically, that should have been exactly what Fnatic wanted, but they were just too far behind.
Yeah, think about the follow-up. They're hoping for the tibbers into Rainover knockup, but he had just got flayed out of the tunnel, and so he didn't have the movement to reposition in time.
Really, they are being able to itemize very hard right now against Fnatic. A quick silver sash, if you will, before that hurricane.
Desperation.
We will beat the Baron. Or will we? There's plenty of wards on it, and we don't have enough damage. So.
Yeah, they're killing Baron and a pink ward at the same time, wondering, I wonder whether they know that we're here.
Yeah, EDG not even taking the time to collapse, just giving it a little laugh. Nice try, guys. We're going to shove up the lanes.
Yeah, and they're going to take this inner turret here as well. That's only one inner left, and Deft is going to make short work of that one as well. That is going to be the entire outer ring, both outer rings of turrets for nothing here in favor of EDG. And they've also picked up that inhibitor from before. And Deft, it's sort of like they've forgotten he was on the map, but he's still here, guys. They're never going to come through and try and get something done, but there's a lot of turret damage here.
And there's a lot of Fnatic members as well. We have to see Huni going towards the top side. They now have to spread themselves out thin. It's not going to make a 10-second dragon any easier, so they might just have to give this one up as well as they lose their blue. No resources are theirs.
Yeah, you mentioned Deft. Deft is definitely the supreme power in this mid-game on either team.
Yeah.
He's already got the Quicksilver Sash completed for the mid-game Kalista on the back of his 7 kills. There's nothing that can stop him now. Even if you land the anti-stun, he's going to be able to Quicksilver faster, then the follow-up is going to come. And if you don't land the anti-stun, then he'll just save the Quicksilver for Zed Deathmark, and nobody's going to be able to assassinate him. So he has so many moves to keep himself safe here, especially comboed with the Thresh, that it's really Def's mid-game right here. And this gives a lot of other teams, further in the group stages that have to play them, pause for thought. Because as Atlas said, the Kalista was not something that we really feared from Deft up until now.
And they've used this strategy before. They've picked Kalista to try and get it banned against them. That's what it seems like. His Deft has not looked the most impressive on that champion, but right now he's playing beautifully. I'd probably still ban it. Oh, looking for something here as Forbidden does use the death mark. Nice use of the Zhonya's, but I think 3 members might be enough from Fnatic, and Rainova pads his stats yet again.
The quickest way to go back and buy your next needlessly large rod, I guess. Thinking on that one.
All right, okay. Couldn't be bothered reading.
4, 4, and 8 for him. 179 still doing well in that lane. And to look how EDG adapted in the early game to grab that low-hanging fruit. Yeah, Yellowstar got ahead, but he lost his flash. So they acted on that immediately and then continued to snowball the game from there. That's something teams got to look at as well, as EDG is going to react and go with what they think is right, and it worked this game.
I think that's been one of the best things that we've seen from Clear Love. Is the instant reactions early on in the game.
And he's making sure that he's getting Deft as far ahead as he possibly can. It even happened against SKT, except afterwards, Bang and Wolf just ran over that lane anyway. They sort of decided that we'll ignore the first blood and we'll just destroy you anyway. But Clear Love going to clear out some tunnels here as well.
This time the Kalista's on the other foot, Atlas.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Deft just showing his mettle on that champion.
Oh, Steelback has to throw the Bloodthirster in there just to keep alive for a little bit longer in these fights. Definitely not going to help him cut through Koro or Clear Love any better. It's only a matter of time now as EDG just continues their stranglehold on this game. Still up kills per minute. 29 kills in 25 minutes.
Yeah, you don't really come back with this type of team comp from Fnatic. Unless Pond continues to do single-man ambushes on 4 people.
He has been known to do that though, and EDG is just getting Baron in the meantime, except the last time they weren't taking an objective during it. I mean, that was just bad, let's be honest.
We've all had those 40 kill LeBlanc games we just can't get to the Nexus with. But then again, that game,
when do you get
your team wasn't carrying as well as you are. So I think all of EDG is going to be knocking on the front door again very soon.
I'm really looking forward to that game, Riv.
You had those moments where you're so far ahead, you ask your team, you think I can 1v5? And they say no, you take it as a challenge. Challenge accepted.
Oh, it looks like they want this fight. This will also mean the Baron maybe seal the deal. Koro from the side. Fnatic not able to assess the fight correctly, and they lose Tibbers immediately without it doing too much damage or stunning anybody. Yellowstar now calling shots from the Death Chamber, and it looks like they're going to be able to clean this one up with a Fate's Call, but they go back in.
Yeah, Deft looking to get back in on the Fate's Call as well. Beautiful work jumping over the edge, and he's just going to kill Forbidden too easy. Meanwhile, Pawn on the backside is going to take down Steelback as he tries to relentlessly pursue away, and man, this EDG lineup's looking like they had some rest last night, Kobe.
Uh-oh. Is Huni going to go for a solo on Mako here? He misses!
Oh, he's getting burned. He'll take the shutdown, but he's going to be close to the ace as Yellowstar respawns.
Still gets his target.
Oh,
Huni, mission accomplished. Target down. He killed Mako.
Yeah. Is that worth again? We type in worth again, Kobe?
But man, yeah, Deft and Mako really showing in the earlier stage in the fight up by the red buff, just how frustrating the Thresh Kalista combo is with so many options for re-engage timings.
Yeah.
They just the constant switcheroo there from that combo is really, really annoying to deal with.
You have to remember as well, this is Deft and Mako. This is a Korean and a Chinese player, and they are playing so beautifully in a lane that, like you said, requires so much coordination. That Fate's Call, that re-engage to come through in that one, on top of Forbidden, who is a very slippery champion. Man, really beautifully done.
They are hitting their marks for sure, and they do have the edge in this game. Almost able to pressure now onto a 4th dragon, which will be theirs. I don't know if we'll even get to number 5 here with Baron minions coming in through H lane. Here's that situation again. It's going to be maybe a 3v1, but this is going to be a slippery pawn here. Flame Spitter from the side of Huni, and he just quickly distorts back to the original W.
He's buying time for the rest of the team to converge.
Yeah, Def looking to make his way in here. Yellowstar, the chains on him. Pawn doesn't even give the assist to Def as Rainover. He's going to try and tunnel out. Koro with the twisted advantage. equalizer, ladies and gentlemen, as Rainover, he's going to die. EDG are huge right now. 28-10. Deft tanking up the turret, which is still hurting him. It's a bit silly.
So far ahead, so many wards on the map, you literally are able to play inside the minds of your opponent. You know their every move, you know what they're going to do, and it just makes the game that much easier for them. 28-10 here. They have as many kills as minutes just on their side.
Yeah, this is 15,000 gold at 28 minutes into the game. 8 turrets to nothing as well. This is very close to a perfect game, despite the few deaths, but you're not going to see an EDG game when they don't die a few times because they like to test the limits.
So true. Also one of the teams that do push in quite quickly once they have that lead. Once they get that Baron, they'll finalize the game. Teams do not have a chance to really react to that.
EDG is like a team that feels uncomfortable unless they have purple things spinning around.
That's true.
As soon as they have that, they're like, yes, we know exactly what we've got to do. We're going to finish this game.
Get an anxiety attack when it
plays
off.
Oh, where's my Baron buff?
All those bags of gold are not comforting enough. They're 15k ahead.
No, need Baron. Need Baron. And 4th Dragon.
And 4th Dragon, of course. 8 turrets to 0, that 15,000 gold lead, and now the 4th Dragon of the game. A clean sweep here so far for EDG across the objectives of the map, and now they look once again, not really to spread Fnatic out thin. They're only going towards mid and bottom here, but they're definitely going to make their numbers smaller as they pick them off here one by one.
Yeah, Karo in trouble. I mean, actually not in trouble, as Forbiven's in trouble, and Clearlove does get the beautiful body slam. A little bit unnecessary. Definitely going to pick up the kill. Yeah, causing some trouble, exactly. Rivington, man.
Yes!
Oh, that's first turret!
Progress.
Yep, don't even worry. The comeback is real, ladies and gentlemen. Chain's going to land on a Rainover, though. He's getting punished for taking down the structures of EDG. Mako makes his way in as well as Pawn. He looks for the reset of his cooldowns. Equalizer coming down from Huni as well. The rest of Fnatic making their way in. Pawn, he's going to destroy a tunnel with his clone? That was cool. I did not know that could even happen as Tibbers is going to get hooked up as well. Clearlove making his way into the fight. The culling just getting tanked like it's doing nothing. Steelback sacrificing himself for the team as Deft. He's dominating now. Koro looking for the flank though. Is Yellowstar going to be okay as Huni is trying to get
Who's the target this time?
Sneaking out of the fight.
Febiven cleaning up the minions. Koro with the Righteous Glory, not in range of flash from Yellowstar, and he cannot get the arcane smash in. You saw Huni trying to tiptoe out of the top lane there. Everybody no, Huni's still down there.
This time. He's got his sight set on the counter jungling.
And I think Yellowstar being 0-6, is he worth as much as Tibbers at the moment?
You got to notice.
Just said, I'll take Tibbers right now. It's fine.
You have to notice a smile on Fnatic faces as well. They understand this game was not in their favor after those first few instances of EDG just grabbing a very big lead and working the snowball well. And Fnatic are, taking this one as a grain of salt.
Yeah. EDG aren't closing this game out nearly as fast as they could, though, right now. They need to be trying to do the best they can in that regard as well. I mean,
or do
the
they?
The length of a game does actually matter if there are situations.
That's very true. That's very true. For tiebreakers, it does matter. If the point of this game is to intimidate the other teams,
I'm intimidated right now.
And show Deft's Callista, then might as well rack up a few extra kills. I think the timing.
Walk this way.
Get back here, Mako. There's the playback. Rainover probably not going to be able to make it out of this one, as he's going to get rendered to death. Koro was looking for it.
I want a replay of Deft's face, close-up camera, when he fates calls Mako's flash right there.
Yeah,
what a beautiful troll.
Yeah.
No love lost between these two guys.
So good.
And I guarantee that
was on purpose. Yeah, that was 100% on purpose.
I think it was Mako going, I'm going to do this really sweet death sentence. Like, watch me, Death. Right. And Death is like, nah, this is my show right now.
Anyway, it's going out of the Dex's turrets. It looks like EDG may be able to put the stamp on this game. Steelback trying to relentless pursue Koro in, but it didn't work the way he wanted it to. Koro was still outside the fountain laser, and the Nexus turrets not long for this world as EDG looks to close out the game.
Yeah, second Nexus turret now going down as the sapling comes through. Equalizer not really hitting anyone as Forbiven's just going to get destroyed. Deft is legendary. Yellowstar going to get melted. A double kill for Deft. Rainover in trouble under his Nexus turrets. Clearlove steals the kill away from his AD carry. That is awful as he's going to make his way into this one. And the Nexus is falling down. Steelback going to die. And EDG, this is what we were expecting for this team heading forward. Doesn't even die on the fountain. And man, that was a disgusting performance from the Chinese.
They seem calm, cool, and collected. Another day at work, I guess, for them. What
That
play?
was not how they were playing. You go back there sitting down, it's like, this is just normal, and they're playing as if like, they're having the best time ever.
I think they stopped really sweating about the game maybe about 15 minutes in, and then they were fairly calm.
Very well played. Fnatic with only a few chances to come back early, and that's going to make the game next to impossible when
But you have to
EDG
say-
can continuously pressure on their snowball advantages.
Yeah, that's right. The thing is, like, Deft, again, getting that early lead, but this time EDG translating that into objectives around the map, into the plays that they needed, and making sure that they did it in systematic fashion. This is the EDG we were expecting coming into this tournament, playing the aggressive style from the middle of the season. I'm very excited to see how they're going to do now moving forward.
Strong Kalista pick coming out of Deft on that one. Kind of shook us for a second, and we'll see what the analyst desk actually has to say about it. For a look into that game, we're going to throw it back to Dash and the guys at the desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ed Crumbs, talk to me, man. How you feeling after that game?
I mean, that was over a kill a minute for EDG alone. I mean, come on, that was nasty. That should have been censored. I'm sorry.
What?
Okay.
Shibi, I want to give you a moment to respond to this. Defend yourself in your Fnatic pick.
Well, I was thinking throughout the game, please make it stop after like 20 minutes. But Fnatic seemed to have fun at least. I think Huni, when he took the blue buff and they took the entire base, he was smiling and
Fun will get you far.
And we also broke the curse of the anti-profit, which I'm,
There you go. The upsides here.
Congrats here.
Thank you very much.
I'm a good loser here.
All right, 1-4 spawn. How you feeling?
1-3. Let's not go.
We made 3 predictions yesterday. You were wrong on all of them.
Yeah.
Correct today. So
One
of four.
American accents. I get a little bit confused sometimes. But that was a pretty typical EDG game. I like what they hit on there, though. There was actually a layer to that game that not a lot of people would have picked up on, and that is Deft's Kalista. Because he doesn't play it. He was much more around the Corkies, around the Jinx, getting himself going. Even pulled the Kog'Maw out a little bit more than the Kalista, and they are trying to turn it into a ban. They don't want to have to play against it. We saw already that they don't do well against that pick, so they're just trying to get it removed from the board, but without having to ban it.
I was disappointed in Fnatic's draft by locking in the early Zed. Like, why are you doing this right now? You see the LeBlanc lock in early.
He got actually his solo kill.
He was obliterated in lane, but let me explain to you why. They lock in the LeBlanc early, and you're like, okay, LeBlanc's coming out. You can just save your last pick, judge the entire team comp, and then decide if you want an assassin or not. Instantly lock in the Zed as to some sort of challenge, like, yeah, I'm up to the challenge. I'll take the Zed LeBlanc matchup. Guess what? Lock in the Maokai. Maokai is not very good against Zed in a team fight. And to top things off, the sapling strategy with giving the first 3 camps of the Wraith camp with LeBlanc, so you put 2 saplings down, get the distortion over the wall, you're going to get destroyed in lane, and that's exactly what happened. Trading 1 for 1 doesn't matter when you're down 30 CS.
We will jump back into this conversation, Sheepy. I'll let you have your time for your rebuttal, but now for a word with the member of the victorious Edward Gaming. Let's check in with Shox in the interview lounge.
Thank you very much, Dash. I'm joined here by Deft on the victorious EDG. Whew, what a performance that was, Deft. Tell me about you guys' picks and ban strategy, and especially making sure that you got your hands on that Kalista.
이번 경기 밴픽에 관해서 좀 듣고 싶은데요. 특히 칼리스타 선픽이 되게 인상적이었어요. 좀 설명 좀 해주세요.
지난번 SKT전에서 제가 뱅 선수한테 칼리스타를 주고 좀 많이 당했거든요. 그래서 저도 할 수 있다는 걸 보여주고 싶어서 골랐어요.
During our match against SKT yesterday, we had a very hard time against Bang's Kalista. So I want to show that I also can do that.
Well, you definitely showed it. You guys were very aggressive, and so was Fnatic. Were you surprised at all at the level of aggressiveness that team showed?
그 푸나틱 팀이 되게 공격적으로 게임을 좀 풀어갔어요. 어떻게 좀 그런 공격적인 플레이 스타일에 좀 당황하셨나요, 혹시?
공격적인 스타일로 치면은 다른 중국 팀들이 훨씬 공격적이라서 그런 걸로 딱히 당황하진 않았어요.
The Chinese teams back in LPL were much more aggressive, so we weren't that surprised.
And totally prepared, I can imagine. You guys are fighting or are doing very well on group to get out of groups. Here you're up against TSM a little bit later. What kind of EDG will we see? Will we see the EDG we saw versus SKT or the EDG we saw just now?
이제 다음 경기로 TSM과의 경기가 남아 있는데요. TSM과 경기 때는 어제 SKT랑 붙었을 때 그 EDG 나올지 아니면 오늘 프나틱과 붙었을 때 EDG 나올지 좀 궁금합니다.
일단 저희 팀이 잘하는 게 라인전을 일단 이기고 그 바탕으로 굴리는 걸 라인전이 강력해서 그걸 바탕으로 이기는 걸 잘하는데 어제 SKT전 같은 경우는 전 라인이 다 상성을 안 좋은 걸 골라서 다음 푸나틱전은 저희가 더 잘하니까 상성 그렇게 심하지 않은 걸로 골라서 라인전에서 끝내고 싶어요.
So I think our team's strength is pressuring our opponents during lane phase and getting the better picks. But our game against SKT, I think all of our lanes got outpicked. So we want to focus more on our picks during TSM and just end the game very early.
End the game very early. Well, we'll see if that happens. Congratulations and thank you very much. Back over to the analyst desk. Dash, take it away.
Thank you, Shocks. Before we jump back to Sheepy and his defense for Febvin, I do want to throw out a couple of the statistics here that we saw backing up the strength of the laners here. Pawn up 20 CS at 10 minutes there. Deft 4-0-1 with a 50 CS lead by 12 minutes. And then on the side of Steelback is one of those Fnatic players that really needs to step it up this tournament. He, going into this game, averaged 21 CS differential down at 10 minutes. At the end of this game, he's now averaging 27.3 below his opponent in lane at 10 minutes.
For that game, though, the statistic about middle isn't necessarily valid just because of how big of an advantage the 3 Wraith camp, Raptor camp? Yeah, the 3 Raptor camp gives you. Just because you can hit level 2 off the first wave allows you to crush the lane. So if it was an even matchup, maybe it would have swayed the other way.
Yeah, other thing I think teams need to really look at from this game is that Pawn is a distraction and Deft is a carry. Pawn is like dancing around. You saw he even went for the solo kill over the wall into 3 people. He literally looks like he has the funnest job in the world because he's backed up by Coral and Deft who do all this damage. And he just tries to annoy the heck out of people until Deft's at a point where he's like, okay, now I'll team fight games under control.
I feel that was pretty much what happened in this game. They went for those really aggressive plays and actually came out ahead, and I think there was some kind of outclass, and it was definitely not pretty for Fnatic. Things got pretty close, for example, for the top lane gank, where he almost killed
Well, at the end of the day, it did seem as though both teams were coming at each other as we expected with the same exact strategy. EDG coming out on top of every engagement in those early game brawls, and when you're leaving every engagement 1 or 2 kills up, eventually that lead becomes insurmountable.
And if you look at the team comp, they had a mid-game centric team comp with Zed supposedly split pushing at some point, and Rumble and Lucian, who's more like mid-lane carry, and I think it just didn't work out. They fall so far behind. They went for those skirmishes. They actually did pretty well, but we're so far behind that, you know.
I want to hit one more thing real quick. This was a pretty big loss here for Fnatic. Now they're 1-2. So going into the remainder of the day, what are they learning from this game, and how are they keeping their mentality out of the dumpster after the very first game of the day?
I think they have to keep their emotions out of the draft. Like, you have to be really analytical and think about what it means to lock in an early assassin pick when you don't have to. Just focus on building the structure of your team and then put the carries in later. Only a champion like Kalista is it really worth picking early because she offers a lot of utility. You're not going to lock in that really early carry champion unless you're Faker that plays LeBlanc.
But then they first picked Kalista, so...
Exactly. Like, these guys are really, really good at these champions. Otherwise, like, especially when you haven't seen the top lane champion, like, it's very difficult to play against that mid lane.
All right, well, we are 1 game in. We got to move on. There's 1 game down, and there's no slowing down at this point. Coming up next, the North American champions Team Solo Mid will face the LMS's AHQ Esports. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Love me like you do. Love me like you do.
You know that this will go on Reddit, right?
No. Sorry. It's not record.
Deft on Kalista can just get out of that late crowd control, quickly bouncing back. Now the hook from Mako, and he can't get any help from Steelback.
Game to build Warrior enchanted.
Oh, another one. Oh, get out of that wall, buddy. Trying to do some work, but he gets destroyed by Pawn, and Steelback finds his way into the fight eventually. And Koro, why are you not dead? Doesn't even give the assist to Def as Rainover. He's going to try and tunnel out Koro with the twisted advance. Getting destroyed.
Holy shit. Oh, look at this.
Why do you laugh? That's so painful.
Man, that was
was a disgusting performance from the Chinese.